When we talk about workplace culture in Denmark, two concepts sit right at the center of how businesses operate and how people collaborate every day: trust and independence. Understanding these ideas is critical not only for organizations already operating in the Danish market, but also for international leaders and teams seeking to build effective partnerships with Danish colleagues or expand into the Nordic region. In this video, we will unpack what trust and independence actually look like in Danish workplaces, why they matter for performance, and how you can adapt your own leadership and collaboration approach to be successful in this environment. To begin, consider how trust is built into the very structure of Danish working life. Denmark consistently ranks among the highest countries in the world on measures of social trust. This macro-level trust flows directly into the workplace. Employees are generally assumed to be competent, responsible, and intrinsically motivated. As a result, managers spend far less energy on direct supervision, detailed instructions, or tight control mechanisms than you might see in more hierarchical or rules-driven cultures. Performance is not driven by fear of scrutiny, but by a shared expectation that people will do what they say they will do. This foundation of trust shapes how work gets organized. In a typical Danish company, employees are given clear objectives and boundaries, but significant freedom in how they choose to achieve them. There is a strong preference for alignment on goals rather than micromanagement of methods. When a task is assigned, the implicit message is, "I trust you to figure this out," and employees are expected to act with a high degree of autonomy. This can be refreshing for individuals who are used to heavier oversight, but it can also be challenging if they are not accustomed to making decisions independently or proactively raising issues when they arise. Trust also manifests in communication patterns. Danish workplace communication tends to be direct, concise, and honest, but delivered with respect and calm. There is little appetite for theatrics or overstatement. This directness is underpinned by the assumption that colleagues can handle transparent feedback and that open dialogue is essential for improvement. When something is not working, the expectation is that it will be addressed openly rather than left unspoken. Importantly, this directness is usually equal opportunity. Interns and senior executives can both contribute, disagree, and ask questions, because the culture assumes that everyone's input has potential value. This brings us to another core dimension: the strong emphasis on equality and flat hierarchy. Danish organizations often have relatively few formal layers between frontline employees and senior leadership. Titles exist, but they confer less visible status than in many other business cultures. Decisions may formally sit with leaders, but the path to those decisions typically involves broad consultation and dialogue. Leaders are expected to be accessible, pragmatic, and modest, and to demonstrate that they trust their teams. You will rarely see leadership by command. Instead, you will see leadership by facilitation, coaching, and alignment. Independence, then, is not just encouraged, it is a basic expectation. Employees are assumed to be able to plan their own work, prioritize effectively, and manage their own time. Flexible work arrangements, including remote work and varied schedules, are common and built on the assumption that people will deliver results without continuous monitoring. If you are working in or with a Danish organization, it is important to understand that needing constant direction or validation may be interpreted as a lack of readiness for responsibility. Conversely, asking thoughtful questions, taking initiative to solve problems, and clearly communicating your progress are seen as signs that you are operating in line with local expectations. One of the most visible expressions of trust and independence in Denmark is the approach to work-life balance. Shorter working hours compared with many other developed economies, a strong norm around leaving the office on time, and respect for personal and family commitments all reflect a deep belief that employees can be trusted to deliver without sacrificing their private life. Productivity is driven by focus and efficiency during working hours, not by being present for long stretches of time. For leaders coming from cultures where commitment is measured by hours at the desk, this can require a mindset shift. In Denmark, staying late on a regular basis may be interpreted not as dedication, but as a sign of poor planning, resourcing, or prioritization. Trust and independence also influence how risk and mistakes are handled. The underlying assumption is that if you empower people to make decisions, they will occasionally get things wrong. In Danish organizations, mistakes are generally treated as learning opportunities as long as they are acknowledged early and addressed transparently. Psychological safety is supported by the broader culture of trust. If people believe they will not be punished for raising issues, they are more likely to speak up when something is off track. For international managers leading teams in Denmark, this means creating clear frameworks and expectations while resisting the urge to overcorrect when things go wrong. Instead of implementing tighter controls as a first response, the more effective approach is often to revisit alignment on objectives, clarify decision rights, and ensure that information is flowing freely. From a collaboration perspective, Danish teams typically value consensus-oriented decision-making. While this can sometimes lengthen the front end of the process, it often leads to smoother implementation because stakeholders have been consulted and feel a sense of ownership. Trust and independence work together here. Trust enables leaders to delegate decisions closer to the front line, while independence allows individuals and teams to move forward confidently once alignment has been reached. For those coming from more top-down cultures, it can be tempting to view consensus as indecision. In reality, it is a deliberate investment in buy-in, grounded in the belief that people who are trusted with autonomy will perform better when they have participated in shaping the path. To operate effectively in this environment, consider a few practical adjustments. First, be explicit about expectations rather than about detailed instructions. Define the what and the why clearly, and then invite the team to propose the how. Second, demonstrate trust early and tangibly. Share information openly, delegate meaningful responsibilities, and avoid unnecessary approvals. Third, communicate with clarity and candor. Danish colleagues will generally appreciate straightforward views, provided they are expressed respectfully and backed by reasoning. Fourth, model a healthy approach to work-life boundaries. Sending late-night emails or expecting immediate responses outside working hours can undermine the norms that support trust and independence. Finally, be prepared to earn trust through consistency. In Denmark, trust is extended as a default, but it is also reinforced or eroded by day-to-day behavior. Delivering on commitments, admitting when you do not know something, and treating everyone with equal respect will have a direct impact on how quickly you are integrated into the culture. In closing, workplace culture in Denmark is not defined by grand gestures or charismatic authority, but by a quiet, steady reliance on trust and independence as drivers of performance. Organizations bet on the idea that when people are treated as responsible adults, they behave like responsible adults. For leaders and professionals who can adapt to this environment, the rewards are substantial: higher engagement, more resilient teams, and a culture where innovation and accountability are shared across the organization. If you are working with Danish colleagues or considering building a presence in Denmark, your most powerful tools will not be new control mechanisms or elaborate reporting structures, but the ability to set clear direction, trust your people, and give them the independence to deliver.